Hello everybody and welcome to your Leo full moon total lunar eclipse tarot reading. This is for all signs. I did intend to make an individual video for each sign. However, this Leo full moon total lunar eclipse has been pretty profound for me, which I was actually going to discuss in the individual videos for each of you. This is an energy that's been 2 years in the making for everybody, okay? This was the fifth and final eclipse on the Leo transit. That total solar eclipse we had back in 2017 was also part of this Leo transit. So basically, you need to take your mind back to 2017, January of 2017 and August of 2017. Where were you at? What was your mind like? What were you working on? What were you struggling with? What did you want to overcome? What did you want to achieve? Because from then till now, you've been working on the energy of something. It's different for everybody, obviously. But based on the astrology that I was looking at, very powerful for relationships, all relationships, romantic, family, friends, the relationship with yourself, relationship with source, relationship with everything, because also first house is very significantly highlighted in all of this energy. And first house is all about you and the way you present yourself, the way people see you, what they think of you. Basically, if you think of yourself as a house, it would be the front door, you know, the very first thing anybody would see or know about you. So there is going to be a lot of shifting and changing in first house, seventh house energy for everybody throughout 2019. I typically do full moon readings from full moon to full moon, so this is encompassing the period of January 20th through February 18th, but also all of 2019, because like I said, this is the last and final of the Leo transit for the eclipses. So everything that is encompassed in that energy for you personally that's been in the works for the last 2 years is going to manifest somehow, some way throughout 2019. So let's get into this. I'm going to pull some cards and see what Spirit wants to tell us about this, you know, these big changes, because for me personally, oh my goodness. So it's, you know, I just have to say this. 10 years ago, if you would have, if I would have been listening to a video about eclipses and all of that, I'd probably been like, what? Whatever, you know? But I've found that the further I've gotten on my journey, the more I've become enlightened, elevated, like whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what to call it. Just consciousness expansion, really. Different things start connecting to you. You know, crystals is another example. Like many people have tried to give me crystals, you know, throughout my journey, and I just never connected. And then Medium Heather gives me a crystal, and I'm like, oh my goodness, wow. And then it just like, I don't know, maybe my vibration is finally ready to connect with the energy of crystals. You know, who's to say? All I can tell you is this Leo total lunar has been quite powerful, and I know exactly what I was working on in 2017. So let's see what Spirit wants to say to all of you. Okay. Oh, and I love it. I love it. So this card 22, okay, this, you see Leo the lion right there in the middle, but this says divine animals, okay, but I have recorded the, for True Tarot Stories, Amanda's and Alex's readings. I just haven't published them yet. And we did them the day after the total lunar eclipse. And this card flew out for both of them. And one of the readings, I was like, what is this? Like, it just doesn't even make sense. And Heather's like, hello. And I'm like, oh yeah, Leo total lunar full moon big deal. And look at that, coming right out in the reading for all of you, okay? This is powerful stuff. It truly is. And the more you desire to consciously become aware of it, how you are connected to the planets, to the moon energy, all of it, what your astrology chart even means, the more you just have intention to understand and expand in that area, it just starts happening. And you'll start correlating so much of the planetary movement to your own life, and you'll be like, oh my God, if only I knew this 5 years ago. So first and foremost, right off the bat, here's Spirit saying, yeah, this is a very powerful completion of a cycle. And you see the heart there? That to me is the confirmation of relationships, healing, restoration, new relationships coming in. Having a better relationship with yourself, or maybe even having a good relationship with astrology. Ooh, look at this variance. Yeah. Also, this coming out to me is a confirmation of energy that I was picking up on from this eclipse, where, you know, things where you've just kind of had your mind set about something, or you were like, you know, this is just the way it is, and that's just it. Or you were kind of teetering on the fence about something where it's like, do I want to go this way or do I want to go that way? And you really didn't know. Well, this year in 2019, with this coming out, this is where you finally decide. If you've been on the fence, it's just like, boom, you know what you want. There's no questions asked. Your decision's made. Just boom, like that. Those of you where you've kind of just been in this standpoint about something, if it's been encompassed in pride or ego or stubbornness, anger, jealousy, like any sort of lower vibrating emotion, if your stance is encompassed in that, it's going to be shattered and your mind is going to flip. And, you know, for some of us, we don't even know that we're kind of in a stance based on a negative emotion that we have wrapped around it, okay? And if that's the case, the universe is going to make you aware of the emotions you have wrapped around everything, around every person in your experience. And that's why your mind just kind of switches. Man, variance. So many of you, this is like who you came in to 2019 as is so not who you are at the end. Like a whole different version of you, just an emergence, you know. Total lunar, the shadow of the earth is cast upon the moon. To me, that's an imprint of energy on the moon. Moon emotion, the unseen, the underneath, and projected back. It's time for the manifestation of those things. So that imprint is also reflected back on you, that new version of you, that imprint. It's in your consciousness, it's in your energy now, and that is where you are headed. That is what you're working on in 2019. And I can't emphasize this enough. You know, a long time ago, let's go back probably like 15, 20 years ago, when I would go seek guidance from a medium or a tarot card reader, I had a medium and a tarot card reader that were totally my lifelines back in my late teens, early 20s, okay? So probably longer than 15 years, but anyways, I would go to them, you know, they would tell me stuff. I was very unenlightened back in those days. And my expectation of what they were going to tell me and what they were going to give to me was so far-fetched from, you know, what readers are really trying to give anybody. And with that, I want to say, there's a subtle magic to you, to your life, to the way everything unfolds on your journey. And the subtlety is the magic, because you might not be completely aware of it as it's unfolding, but as you look back, you're like, oh my God, you know, like how did I ever get here? And I will say this, back then, both of them told me, you know, you're going to be doing this one day. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm calling you guys because sure, I'm intuitive and, you know, I had a bunch of weird things, but I wasn't like that. I couldn't just, you know, snap my fingers and tap into somebody and give them predictions or tell them anything, really. And they would always be like, you know, you are going to do this one day. Like, this is your destiny. And, you know, I just went through life, and it just wasn't happening. And it wasn't like I was pursuing it. But there came this point where things just started naturally shifting for me. And when I looked back at the astrology, right on point for the first phase of that was when my moon was actually in the eclipse cycle, and then when my sun sign was in the eclipse cycle. Yeah, big time shifts and changes then. And slowly by surely, I came into this, and you know, and my ability to like tap in and pull messages, it just expands over time. And I don't even realize it until I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah. So the most important thing I want you to take away from this is, yeah, for some of you, there is some really cool big things that are just boom, gonna happen. But for others of you, this is more of that subtle process, the true magic, the true stability that's just going to unfold through 2019, and you're going to metamorphose into this whole new version of yourself, and it's gorgeous, okay? Through my eclipses, yes, it was painful, it sucked, but what happened on the end of all of that was so good. And this is it. This is the last one. So whatever this Leo transit is attached to for you and your natal chart personally, you are at the end of that. And now it's time for the true manifestation, the new version of yourself in that aspect. Okay. So, wow, and look at this. Next card out is Insight. Yeah, this is where, like I was talking about how, you know, if you've been on the fence about something, it's just, you're going to come into your understanding. You're going to know what you want. You're going to know what you need. Also, this to me is 2019 being a year where far more people are in tune with themselves, with their vibration and the energies around them, and picking up on the emotions of others, you know, just a much more connected feeling for 2019. And it's not to say we're not going to have eclipses and retrogrades and all of that, but the energy just feels so much more elevated than, you know, 2018. And man, just like the last 5 years, really. I mean, I know I was in my transits, but it's just 2019 feels like a very nice year. So let's see what shadow elements are being overcome. And I just want to say, I have combined 2 of Mystic Moon's decks here, her Twin Flame messages and then her Twin Flame shadows, and wow, together they are dynamite. So if you guys, anybody who currently owns this deck, these decks, oh my god, try putting them together. Total fire. So let's see here. And just because it's labeled Twin Flame, nope, these decks can talk to you about anything. I promise you that. Mystic Moon is something quite special when it comes to creating decks. Like, she so has the rites of passage. There is no question in my mind. Okay, so what are the shadow aspects being overcome? We have, please don't take what happened personally. It was not you, it was me. Okay, so right away, this is relationships. And this is more, again, where I said you are in touch with your feelings and others, and more others are in touch with their feelings and with you. So this to me is where we're going to have some resolution to really challenging relationships. Energy, again, that's encompassed in stubbornness, ego, hatred, jealousy, anything like that. It's, you know, the energies are so strong, it's going to just kind of penetrate all that. And many people are going to be given the chance to either heal and have closure, or, you know, some of you, this is where the relationship has a 2.0 or maybe even a 3.0. You never know, right? Just everybody's on a different path here. So this is where you are also coming more into your own and feeling more confident about yourself and not wanting to personalize what other people do and say so much. Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, it's triggering. But whereas you may have held on to something for months and months and months, it's just you don't feel like it's worth your time. You would rather push it to the back of your mind and just let it go. It's like, no, this isn't even worth my energy. It's just you don't, the vibes are different, and that type of attitude and perception and way of experiencing is going to feel very uncomfortable to many, even those who are not on any sort of path of awakening, self-improvement. It doesn't matter. You know, we are all subject to these energies, and level of consciousness is how aware we are of them, but they play out in our lives and affect each and every one of us. So you're going to realize things weren't as bad as you thought, and the bad behavior and actions of another that really, really hurt you, it wasn't you. It was them. It was their own projections, their own insecurities, their own lower vibrations that they're choosing to work with at this time. And, you know, when somebody is in a space of self-denial, refusing to take any responsibility or accountability for what they do, and it's always somebody else's fault, and they're the victim because if XYZ hadn't happened to them in their life, then this wouldn't be the case, and the story goes on and on and on. Yeah, it's not you, it's them, and it's very hard for somebody to face that when they've played the victim and always pointed the finger and, you know, just kind of slipped under the radar, never really having to face consequences for their actions. And, you know, many people like that cannot take accountability, they're the escape artist, because when it comes right down to it, and, you know, the game is up and they've been had and the truth comes out, they run instead and lose you, okay, instead of facing themselves. And for you, you think, oh man, like that connection meant nothing, like how could I have meant nothing to them? No, you meant everything. It's they cannot face themselves. There's a huge difference in energy there. When somebody cannot face themselves, when you call them out, they're going to run because they're incapable. Doesn't mean that it doesn't sit with them, that it doesn't haunt them, that they don't feel guilty about it. But again, if they're refusing to take accountability and responsibility with you, that's how they're going to be in their own mind and justifying away everything they did and said. So this here to me is a confirmation from Spirit saying, listen, you're all right. And, you know, don't personalize somebody else's bad behavior. If they can't own their stuff, you know, that is so not your problem. But there's healing to this, okay? Next out, my heart is telling me just to do it. Yeah, you know, you as well as others, like everybody, they're just going to feel kind of convicted, and they're going to want to make things right, you know, just, hey, I'm sorry, man. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I said that. And, you know, there's varying degrees of damage to different relationships, right? So this here is another confirmation to this of like, I don't want bad blood between us. For whatever that means, I want healing, I want peace, I want harmony. Let's have closure. And, you know, here's something else. Anger, resentment, bitterness, all of those things, unforgiveness are just a different way of holding on to somebody or to a situation. And we don't perceive it as such because we don't feel that longing and desire and pining feeling for that person or that situation to return. It's more of that negative, I'm hurt, I hate you, I'm angry, how could you, I feel so betrayed. Like, and hanging on to those emotions, they're still attached to that person, right? Whether you're up here feeling positive about them or down here feeling negative, that's energy streams that are attaching, okay? You're keeping them in your space, in your consciousness, in your energy, in your emotions. And I know when something has really hurt us, it's almost near to impossible to push it far enough away to distract ourselves to something else, right? There's a process that you have to go through. So if something is very fresh to you, then yeah, you are going to be obsessing about it and trying to, you know, adjust to this new stimulation or information you've just received, okay? But you have to give yourself a time limit of that space, because if you're there too long, it really starts pulling you down, especially into a lot of depressive type of feelings. And, you know, you can't deny what's going on inside of you, because that's as counterproductive. But you have to recognize that any sort of emotion that you dwell on, obsess about, constantly think about, attached to another person, it's, you just keep it with you, and there's no freedom, there's no escape from that. And it's just easier to let it go, to forgive, not saying, hey, what you did was okay and I'm all good with it. It's just, I can't give the energy to this anymore. It takes from me. This is something that has happened. I cannot change it. I don't like it, but I accept that it has happened. And now I want to move on. I want to move forward. And that has to be your intention. You can't keep going back in your mind, going back in your mind, going back in your mind. Your mind, heart, and soul all have to be present and moving forward. And in that space, that's when everything starts working out. I promise you. That's when the apologies come in. Why? Because your energy is balanced and open, and that is very attractive. It's all on the subconscious level, but that's very attractive, okay? So recognize that, you know, for many of you, the really troubled relationships in your life, they don't wish to be in this energy any more than you do. They desire healing and peace and forgiveness as much as you do, for whatever that means, okay? Let's see, sell out. Oh, yeah. So this, to me, is probably why I was so hung up on that, like forgiveness. There's some serious betrayal that, you know, many of you faced, and this is a general read, so I'm not going to, like, really clarify that. But where were you betrayed? I mean, where did it dig deep, cut deep, and you've been struggling with that over the past 2 years, okay? What got you? And you've been trying to move through it, whether it's a relationship, it's something about yourself, it's a situation, it's, you know, maybe for some of you, you're really angry about the situation you were born into. I know for me personally on my journey, purging that childhood that I was born into was incredibly hard for me. Like, oh gosh, what a roadblock. Oh man, it was, so I get it. Like, what gets you, what just cuts you all the way down, it's hard to move beyond that and elevate yourself out of it. But I promise you, that is your intention, where you're like, I don't want this to own me. I don't want this to hurt me anymore. And that's your intention. Day by day, it will get better. I promise you. I promise. It's not a quick fix, but you've been going through it for 2 years, and now it's time for the new version of you, the new version of your experience to unfold in 2019. Next out, seeing you reminds me of all the things I know deep down, and that's not always easy to deal with. Need I say more about the individuals that cannot take responsibility for their actions, their behaviors, right here? That is why they run. That is why they're an escape artist, because when the truth comes out, they're had. They have no other trick to pull. They have no cards in their pocket. Like, they are game's up. And in that space, you have two options, right? You own it or you run away. And I think for many of us, dealing with relationships, romantic, friends, co-workers, family, like across the board, this weird push and pull of energy, right? And that is coming to an end. You know, many of you, the escape artist, the I can't take responsibility person, they may be coming to the light, okay? Or, you know, this is a general reading. If you feel like you've kind of been that person, you are really waking up and you're like, no, oh man, I want to make things right. Because last and final, would you reject me? Okay? So people that have harmed you, and I just peeked at the last one, or the next one, I couldn't help it. You're an angel. I got to keep that out because would you reject me? And you are an angel. Yeah, there's a lot of fear, okay, that you wouldn't accept, that you wouldn't agree to disagree, that you wouldn't forgive. You know, there's a lot of fear because you are an angel. So imagine this, you know, and most of you who are listening, well, you know, I guess we all have our journeys and we work from different consciousnesses. But, you know, what I get from all of this is, imagine, you know, if you had a friend or a romance or somebody, and this person was just always there for you. Like, you could count on them through thick and thin, like, all of it. And then, you know that you were dishonest the whole time. You were just there trying to get what you wanted, but through the process you realized that you were basically, you know, a total douchebag for doing what you're doing to this beautiful person. And then when the game's up, instead of owning yourself and apologizing, you run away. Now imagine, just put yourself in those shoes. What would you do? Would you feel safe going back to that person knowing that they're an angel and you totally just like betrayed the crap out of them, a person who never deserved that from anybody, especially from you? Can you imagine what that would feel like trying to go back to somebody you did that to? And so I just say put yourself in those shoes, because I'm not justifying them. Believe you me, I'm not. But I'm saying, you know, those of you who are like, well, if they're so sorry or they were feeling so bad, this, that, and the other, why haven't I heard from them? Or why haven't they made an effort? Well, there you go. If you totally screwed somebody over that never harmed you, and you are realizing that, could you go back and say, hey, you know, I'm so sorry that I'm probably the worst person that ever crossed your path, but I just want you to know you're an angel, okay? And I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that's not, you would not feel safe in that, no matter how much your heart pulled you to want to do that, okay? Because look at, you know, my heart is telling me just to do it. So what I feel with this Leo full moon, total lunar, again, it goes right back to the relationships. This is so relationship based. And, you know, I'm not just talking about romantic when I say relationship. So just keep that in mind. It's whatever relationship you've been in the struggle with the last 2 years. And, you know, I'm going to pull a house card because I don't feel like this is all relationship for everybody, but you know, this could even be the relationship with yourself, okay? Where you go back and forth with yourself. One minute you are believing in yourself, and then the next minute you are like, well, no, I'm not good enough, and all of those things. Well, with that, you know, I just feel like you need to have far more confidence in you and love for you, and also call upon your guardian angel. You know, I promise you, if you just start praying, and I say pray because that's a concept that many people can understand and relate to. I mean, it could be meditation, just whatever your thing is, but you know, those of you who don't really connect to any sort of entity, like God, higher power, anything like that, you know, oh, there is so much power in prayer, especially the angels. You know, I've never really met somebody that's like, I prayed to the angels and bad things happened. It's more like, I prayed to the angels and oh my gosh, you'll never believe what just showed up for me, or you'll never believe how this ended up working out. And to me, we all have free will. So when we are praying or we're putting intention out to the universe, even a spell, that's all a spell is, okay? Is to me, a prayer or intention on steroids. Also using elements of the earth, you know, it's just like a culmination of all these energies. Here is my intention, universe, okay? And when you are doing that and you're in that flow of energy with the universe, it's things that happen in your world. It's not about having to be saintly and, you know, be this perfect person and all these things. That really trips a lot of people up. Like, you're good as you are, okay? We are all working from a level of consciousness. And, you know, as you focus on that and it becomes your intention to really expand your consciousness, that's when you really start to see, you know, how many of you have like been in a relationship with somebody and you got with them and it was like the relationship, you were in it for a while and then things go bad and then you're out of it and you're over it and you're like, oh my God, like how did I ever find myself attracted to that person? Like how did that happen? Well, that was a different version of you. That was a different version of consciousness of you. And through all of that, you expanded into a completely different version of yourself, and now you're operating from a different level of consciousness. Therefore, your energy and consciousness is no longer a match to that. And you know, that's, just think about that. Really think about that. It's, you know, about your consciousness. And this Leo total lunar, man, I mean, I don't know, but my consciousness, whew, just so many things, it's so profound, and I'm like, wow, I never even, wow. And I do this all day, every day, like even when I'm not putting videos up. So yeah, I know everybody, every one of us, whether you believe in spirits or anything, every one of us. So pray, okay? Just put it out there and consistently do it, and you are fine just where you are. Like, you are going to change so many different versions of yourself throughout your lifetime. Your consciousness is always expanding, always, 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 always. So aside from relationships, let's see if Spirit will bring anything else out. Okay, look at that. 6th house. And this right here is the work, health, duty area of your life. To me, this is more talking about this change, this new version of you, like old version, and here's the new version emerging. And in this space, you are changing your routine. You're doing things differently. You're going about things in a new way. You're shifting old patterns of behavior, having more disciplined thoughts, being more in tune with yourself, you know, as I spoke of earlier in the read, being much more in tune with your body, with your soul, you know, with your path, what you desire. Because, you know, many of us operate from expectations that others have placed upon us throughout our lifetime, and we have no clue that that's where we're operating from, because they're just part of our belief system. They're a part of who we are. But this Leo transit is breaking all of that up, because 1st house, 7th house, okay? And that 1st house is you. And this is what's happening. Your old version, new version, much more elevated, much more expanded consciousness. And just start praying. I'm telling you, start praying or putting intention out. If you don't, it's just watch and see what happens. Oh yeah, look at that. Knight of Cups jumped out. Yes, especially in regards to relationships, all friendships. You want new friendships? Pray about it. Universe, what would it take to have really good, strong, solid friendships in my life? What changes do I need to make? Where are the kinks in my vibration, my energy that I need to work out? What are the blocks inside of me that I need to remove for very pure relationship? And, you know, again, because this is like 2 years in the making, you've already been doing the work. And I feel this is the right here. Here's the new friendships. Here's the new romance. Here's, you know, deepening of connection in some existing relationships. You know, I really feel that, like, relationships that could be estranged for like 10 years around family, it's the healing. We are finally coming back together. We're finally building the bridge here, okay? That's family. That feels so strong, family. General reading, so of course it can encompass romance and friendships and all that, but any of you that have been in just like this really deep disconnected segregation between a specific relationship, something you would consider a family tie, for 10 years, at least the last 5-10 years. It's the time is to heal it. It's now. Okay, and just because this is Leo, if you are a Leo sun or a Leo moon, or heavy placement of Leo in your chart, yeah, especially strong for you, this message here. All right, so actually that's this, we'll put him there because he flew out. Okay, so this is the Two of Wands, and we start out with fire energy. I love it. Yeah, this is finally the manifestation is beginning. The next version, the 2.0, the new version of you, right there. First card out. And look at a period of rest. This is after a period of rest. So again, those relationships where there's been this just estrangement, huge disconnection in the physical realm, here's the change of that energy, okay? Yeah, because look at that, 10 of Cups. And on this side, this is where we see eye to eye, where we're finally understanding each other, where, you know, I don't want to fight. I want to do whatever it takes to make this right. Huge time healing of family connected relationships in 2019 with this Leo transit coming to completion. But again, it encompasses all relationships. So we have the Queen of Swords here, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But this here is communication to me, but very clear, honest communication, and emotions are out of it. It's like, let's talk about facts and keep on point there and not speak upon our personal emotions, like not letting personal hurt feelings sway the conversation. It's very logical, very practical. Let me state the facts for you, but on it also very honest energy, very honest conversations. Yeah, because look at this, Eight of Swords in this position. This is where we're finally breaking free of the restriction and we're seeing the higher wisdom of things, consciousness expansion. Yep, and look at this, Seven of Wands. So here's an elevation of energy. Typically, the Seven of Wands is more about like a lot of things coming at you. But in this deck, this is more about the elevation of one's status, of one's energy. So this is that improvement, and also those new connections, new relationships coming in, or finally getting closure on things, relationships that have just been haunting you. It's a very nice card. Yeah, because look at here, we have the Knight of Pentacles. Now, this in this position, this is very solid and true energy. This could be Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, but this is somebody who is definitely in it for the long haul. You can trust them. They're stable. They're honest. They will have your back through and through, okay? This is somebody who's really going to walk through the desert with you if that's what it takes. So to me, this is that more solid of connections and relationships throughout 2019 due to the completion of this Leo full moon eclipse transit. And woo, look at this, Eight of Wands. Yeah, this is like communication. Okay, so you have two eights here, Eight of Swords, Eight of Wands, and so you have you have three wands and you have two swords. So all that fire energy, but swords are mental, okay? Sun just moved into Aquarius. Mercury is about to go into Aquarius. Well, at least at the time I'm recording this video, so that may be irrelevant based on when you view this, but Aquarius is the higher mind, and also 11th house, which is relationships, social status, the way you interact with, you know, all the people in your life, really more of a social type of energy, but also encompasses your deeper desires, okay? Your wishes, your goals, your hopes. And here we have this Eight of Wands flying in, all this swords energy. So yeah, the Leo full moon total lunar and the Sun and Mercury moving into Aquarius, very powerful stuff. You're going to just be getting a ton of clarity coming to you, almost like lightning for some of you. This is unexpected communication and conversations coming your way. This is new relationships, new opportunities. This is a great, great card to come underneath the Eight of Swords. It's like, I'm too tired. I can't figure this out. I don't even want to deal with this anymore. To, okay, maybe there's a way out of this. Maybe I can let this go. Maybe I can trust and believe again. To, okay, boom, here's the manifestation. Because look at what's out next. The Three of Cups. And in this position, this is happiness. And also really brings back to when I was saying to pray or put intention out to the universe. This is the universe saying, I will bless you, I will help you, I will light your path, I will be beside you the whole time, okay? And we start with the 2 and we end with the 3. So again, that's the manifestation coming in for me. I mean, at least that's how I view that. So let's get some clarity on some of these cards here. I'm going to pull some tarot dice for that. All right. Hopefully it won't knock all my cards over, but I truly want to throw them very authentically, so. Okay, woo! Cards did not fall. That is a good sign. Okay, and I always go with what is on top. So over here we have the Wheel of Fortune, and you know that flew over here, so I feel that goes with the 7 of Wands and 3 of Cups. Up here we have the 7 of Pentacles. So again, oh my gosh, and thank you, Spirit. I didn't even make that connection, even though I had just said it. When I said 5 to 10 years, here's this 10 of Cups that has this 7 of Pentacles as the clarifier. All right, and this tells me this is a connection that maybe you thought would be strained for the rest of your life. You never thought healing could come in. You never thought you could see eye to eye, understand each other, get an apology, just whatever the case is for you. It's like 7 of Pentacles is like, I have given up pretty much all hope that this could ever be fixed, or this is where you just gave up hope that you would ever feel okay and healed and have closure for this. And you know, based upon this reading, it's like that's the order of the day, is healing, and quite unexpected. Oh yeah, because look over here on the 2 of Wands, where I said this manifestation's coming in, we have the 7 of Cups. Okay, so you have the 7 of Pentacles, and then you have the 7 of Cups. This is your hopes, wishes, and desires, which ties right into that Aquarius energy, right? The 11th house energy, and here it is. But to me, it also talks about how what you've been working on for the last 2 years, since 2017, okay, it's finally coming to fruition. It's finally manifesting. Ooh, is that 10? Yeah, because look at, we have the 10 of Swords here, and that's what's, you know, kind of sitting, well, it was over here, so I'm going to attach it to these 2 cards. And yeah, this is those heavy relationship, those falling outs, all those things that I have already discussed. And now there's a shift in that energy. Okay, there's discussion, there's communication, there's an exchange of energy. And you know, with the Wheel of Fortune ending right here, this is that elevation of energy where you are so happy the wheel finally turns. You may have like lost a lot of hope by this point that anything would really happen, anything would turn around, because you know, with the 8 of Swords at the center of this reading, this tells me for 2 years this is what you've been feeling, a lot of restrictive energy around a very specific situation, or a very specific relationship, or multiple relationships, or just feeling like you can't really connect with anybody. And now, you know, Eagle, it's like your consciousness is expanding. You're going into that new version of yourself, which is freeing you from that restrictive energy. And where we had total and utter restriction, because whether you realized it or not, you needed a break from this person needed a break from you. Or if this is a situation, like if you've just been kind of a hermit for the last 2 years, like you needed that, okay? Any relationship that's completely disconnected and estranged, it needed to happen. We needed to rest. We needed to gain wisdom. There were things that we had to come into understanding on both sides, and that's why we were restricted. But now that restrictions lifting to the most, the card that speaks of incredibly fast flowing, moving energy into your world. So I love that, which makes you feel incredibly grateful and happy. That's why I'm saying, you know, put your intentions out to the universe and trust that things will happen for you. Things will go in your favor. So I'm going to pull a few of these to look. These are signs and synchronicities that I want you to pay attention to. And that's what that means, is that spirit letting you know, hey, I hear you. And I'm right here with you. So we have table and gathering. So this to me, because this is what flew out, there's... Oh no, what the heck just happened? Hold on, I'm so sorry for that. I'm trying to shut that off. Whoa, but my computer is like totally like off and... Okay, whoa. Okay, there we go. Sorry, don't ask me about that one. My computer was off and it turned on and the show started playing and it's on the lock screen, so yeah, okay. Anyways, listen, if somebody asks you to a meal, to coffee, to talk about things, accept. It will go well, all right? Also with this, there's a very special... Oh yeah, because look at, we have the Three of Cups here. There's a very special event, a gathering, get together. It could be intimate with just two, or it could be, you know, a handful of people, or it could be a party or a huge event or occasion. You know, it's different for all of you, but this is very significant, and because it's coming through a piece of your puzzle, or this could be the celebration of your manifestation, okay? If you've really been trying to make something happen, it's like 2019 is your year, and here's the celebration of you making that happen. But also, again, any sort of offer where, you know, somebody wants to take you out to talk about things, to really either get closure or try to heal, do it. It's a very positive thing. Don't fear it. Don't push it away. You know, open yourself up to that. And look at this. We have the snake and we have forbidden. The snake to me is a different symbolism than it is for a lot of other people. To me, this snake is about wisdom, okay? And for this to come out, it's just a confirmation of the expansion of your consciousness that I feel is, you know, taking place in 2019. And this forbidden, things that really tempted you and pulled you down into lower vibrating energies, you know, it's game over. It doesn't have the power. But also, you know, snakes, I feel, are significant for some of you. I don't know why, okay? Pay attention to that. But this is positive. This is, what are the positive signs? And spirit, like, those kind of flew out. So let me pull a couple more. Those of you who relate to reptiles also, you know, this to me feels a confirmation of spirit totem, or spirit totem, animal totem for some of you, okay? Now we have 555, wisdom, wake up call, time to move in a new direction. I love it. I love it with this reading. Again, the new version of yourself emerging. 555, Leo is the ruler of the 5th house, okay? This Leo full moon total lunar eclipse was the 5th one, and that was it. So there was 5 in the, you know, transit of Leo. There was 5. 5 is about changes, it's about challenges, and this whole reading is like that you're overcoming this. And so just a confirmation also, when you see repeating 5s, that spirit saying, listen, I'm right there with you. And I feel you'll see this more when things are feeling kind of challenging, or you are kind of wanting to give up. You see 555s or 5555, or it's just, you know, anything where the 5s are the repetitive number, that spirit saying don't give up. This is part of the journey, and there's just some shifting right here. There's just a little bit of challenge, a little bit of contrast to move through. So pay attention to that. And also, you know, anytime you see 555, that's spirit letting you know all is well. Next we have key, unlock. Oh, I love this. Yeah, just more confirmation that, you know, what you've been working on these past 2 years through this transit, it's finally unfolding in 2019. And keys, any sort of keys that you find, not your car keys, not your house keys, any sort of random, like it's on a card you receive, or you find a key, just somebody has a key tattooed on them, like a design of a key. Very, very significant. So pay attention to that, all right? So what I have here is snakes, keys, and 555. And also there's some sort of celebration that is highly important and significant for you in 2019 that's attached to this Leo transit, so of eclipses. So that will wrap this reading up. Oh, actually, sorry. Spirit's like, nope, you forgot something. Okay. I will pull you some advice, and Spirit just said 3, so. Oh, and I guess that would make sense. 3 cups. All right. Surrender resentments. How perfect is that with this whole message? It says, holding on to resentment only poisons you. Try to forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward towards positive situations in your life. I absolutely love it. And look at that umbrella feels significant to me. So, you know, if umbrellas start showing up in your world, that is me, to me, Spirit saying, I got you. I'm protecting you. Next we have surrender to receiving love and support. Yes, and this feels so strong about that family energy that was coming through. It says allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. I agree with this 100%, seeing this 4 of Swords at the top of the reading here. And lastly, we have, oh my God, oh, Spirit is so good. Surrender to miracles. And essentially that's what I'm alluding to when I'm saying pray, meditate, put intention out there because of this. And look at, there's the full moon right there. It says, be open to miracles occurring in your life. Feel and know that these events are real. Okay, let go of any resistance and banish any doubt that miracles can happen. Oh, I love that. The third one was the best one. Spirit knows exactly what to say. Always, always, always. So I will leave it there. And I do want to say I will be putting out some weeklies, you know, just depending on when you're watching this. Again, I've just been pulled in 500 different directions with a lot of different things. So I haven't forgotten about those. I just honestly haven't had time. So I hope that you found this helpful, and I'm wishing you all the best. Take care.